So this is what it looks like. We string it together like this. This is just one possibility out of millions, literally. Let's go medium stance. We're gonna take 3 exercises and put them together. We're gonna work legs, hips, and core, and they all are synergistic with each other. 10 reps. You go as low as you feel comfortable. You could even go partial reps. This is totally fine, but you'll eventually be able to go lower. Sit back into those heels. Now we're gonna go down to the floor and do our hip tucks. So we're gonna tuck and release. Tuck and release. This is called 3D pelvic tilts. You're using your feet to help you to get maximum range to the pelvis. This is working the hip sockets. This is working the belly. Now take the feet out of it and don't use your feet. Use your belly only. So your feet are on the floor, but they're not allowed to push. Let's go 5 more. Flex the belly. Drive that spine down. Keep your neck long and flat. One more time. Okay, feet are parallel and they're medium stance. And we're gonna go up and down into your bridge. Remember, in your bridge, your pelvic tilting at the top. Don't arch your back. Tuck your hips. Drive down through your feet as your hips come up. That's one technique to make it more intense on all the parts. So the same amount of time is gonna reap better results. Stay at the top, widen the knees and narrow the knees. Widen the knees and narrow the knees. Keep pushing down through the feet. Can you do that? See, what I'm doing is I'm teaching you how to multitask. In order to multitask, your neural network has to expand. You're growing nerves and nerve connections to different parts of your body. Okay, stop in the center, medium stance with the knees, right hip higher, left hip higher. Drive down to the right foot as you go with your right hip. So left foot, left hip, right foot, right hip. 3. This is the basic pattern. There's so many different patterns, but this is the basic one I work with. Okay, come on to the side, come on up. Let's go wide stance squats. There we go. Sit back into it, sit into the heels, push your feet apart. Notice you have 2 separate butts. One more time. Come on down to the floor, back to your pelvic tilts. You're using your feet to help you. You're gonna go right hip to right ear, left hip to left ear. So now we're going laterally. We're wagging the tail, wagging your pelvis, using your feet to get maximum range of motion. One more time like that. Now take the feet out of it and use just your belly. Your feet are still on the floor, but you're using your belly muscles. And if you put your fingertips at your belly, you're gonna feel that distinct difference of how the belly muscles come to the surface. 3. If you want even more intensity, drive your spine down. Drive it flat, round the lower back. Good job. Okay, put your feet wide. The feet are parallel. This is called wide stance hip bridge. Come on up, tuck the hips, touch the buttons down. Tuck the hips, touch the buttons down. Now when your feet are wide, it really stretches those deep hip muscles. The same thing, you're driving down to the feet as you push your hips up. 3, now I'm just going at random numbers. You can fix a number and do that number. Now knees are gonna go right and knees are gonna go left. Hips stay high. You can choose 10, you can choose 5. It's whatever you have time for. It's whatever you want to push yourself to do. This is just the first level. I'm going to be showing you how to make it even harder as you get stronger. Stop in the center, right hip up, left hip up. Right hip up, left hip up. I'm driving down to the right foot as my right hip goes up, driving down to the left foot as my left hip goes up. One more on each side. They should be burning by now. Come on down, turn to the side, come on up. I'm keeping this super basic. It can get much more complicated fast. Now on this last one, I'm driving my knees together on purpose. We're activating the groin. You should feel the knees push together and feel the groin muscles squeeze and flex. Sit back into the heels. That's going to help you balance. Again, you go only to the depth that feels comfortable. Let's go 5 more. Now, what I notice with people is that the groins, the inner thigh muscles, are very weak with most people. This is one way you can use and work those muscles and keep them strong. And last one. Okay, we're coming down to the floor. Third dimension of your pelvic tilts. You're going to go with the feet helping, right hip to the sky, left hip to the sky. Right hip, left hip. You're rotating your pelvis. One pelvis up, other pelvis up. I can also say one pelvis down, other pelvis down. So depending on how your body works and how your brain works, how you learn, it might be easier for you to drive a pelvis down to cue yourself to do this. Okay, I'm going to take the feet out of it. My feet are on the floor, but I'm not using the feet. This is definitely the hardest of the 3 dimensions. It's hardest to get that pelvis rotating without the feet helping. Fingertips at your belly so that your brain gets more information, more data. It's going to help coordinate what you're doing. 3 and 2. This is a belly exercise. And 1. Okay, narrow-footed bridge. Feet are together, knees are together, up and down. Now for me, because of the way my lower back is built and because of my injury, the narrow is really hard for me. It's strenuous, and it's hard because of the way my pelvis is tilted, but I still do it. Drive those knees together. You're really going to feel that groin. 3 and 2 and 1. Stay at the top. Widen your hands. Knees go right, knees go left. This is a balance exercise. I can't get very high with my hips without arching my back. So I'm only going as far as I can without arching my back. Stop in the center, right hip high, left hip high. You remember what to do. Drive down through its foot to get that hip. Left foot, left hip. Right foot, right hip. We got Delphi running back and forth. She's so cute. Last one, come on down, knees up, circle those knees, flush it out. Your legs are limp and relaxed. Your arms are doing the work. This clears the hip sockets. Change directions. This is juicy. This is called a flush. So we do a strength exercise and we follow it up with a flush, and that clears all the acids and it helps you renew those tissues. It will reduce your soreness. Now keep your knees together and round like that. This is a little bit more lower back decompression when the knees come up towards you, when your knees are together, versus when the knees are separate and we're circling separate knees. That's a little bit more hip socket clearance. You guys are so awesome. Okay, so that's the first step. We strung it together. The next time I do this same routine, I'm going to show you how to make it even harder. We're going to keep doing these videos one step at a time to keep building your confidence, your know-how, your knowledge of exercises, your neural connection, your strength, your endurance, all of that.